I, nearly adult male, have two sisters, Alice 29 and Miranda 33. I am much closer to Alice than I am to Miranda. Miranda is also not on good terms with our parents. Alice has 4 kids and is currently expecting child number 5, while Miranda can't have children for which her ex divorced her. Miranda is very successful in life. She has a nice apartment, works a good job, and earns a decent amount of money. Alice, on the other hand, is struggling financially. She had her first kid right out of high school and got pregnant with her second son soon after. So she decided to become a stay-at-home mom while her boyfriend provided for them. My parents and I try to help them out as much as possible, be it childcare or money, whatever she needs. I love my nieces and nephews. I take them to the park and play with the older ones. I really enjoy it. Miranda doesn't help out with them. She says it's because she's too busy. Well, she works long hours, but she doesn't have kids, so I don't know what she does on the weekends. She also doesn't help out financially, which I find unfair, since she makes so much money and all she does is spend it on herself, although she does give us very nice gifts for Christmas and birthdays. My parents nag her about it, saying she should give some of her money to Alice monthly, and I agree with that. So here comes the part where I may have been an idiot. I was at Miranda's place last week as she baked muffins and invited me over to eat some and catch up. We got on the topic of Christmas presents, and I told her some of the stuff I wanted. She nodded and said she would give our parents a coupon for a much-needed vacation, and Alice some clothes she had mentioned, and some new boots and jackets for her kids. I was a little stunned she didn't have more for Alice, so I asked, "Why do you only get Alice the bare minimum? You can afford to help out more, and you refuse to out of spite." Miranda looked at me and laughed. She said it wasn't her business to feed 6 people, that Alice was old enough to make her choices and live with the consequences. She knew what she was getting herself into, and that she wouldn't pay Alice's way through life just because she kept having children she couldn't afford. I was stunned at how cold she reacted. I asked her how she could live her life being so selfish and uncaring, and she got angry and told me, "Listen, kid, there are some things you are way too young to be discussing with me, and this is one of those. So drop the subject or get out." I got frustrated with her and said something I probably shouldn't have. I told her, "No wonder your husband divorced you. Even if you could have children, you would be a terrible mother." After that, Miranda got very quiet and told me to leave and never come back. She has now blocked me on everything, and though I disagree with her not helping out, I'm starting to feel guilty for what I said. So, am I the idiot? You are the idiot. You went way too far with that comment. Shame on you. And Miranda is completely right. It's her money that she earned. She has absolutely no obligation to give her money away if she doesn't want to. You and your family expecting Miranda to give her money to her sister that can't afford her lifestyle is greedy. Yes, your sister Alice kept having kids. It was her choice to keep having them. No one owes your sister anything because of the choices she made, especially her sister. OP sounds incredibly naive and honestly needs to grow up. Yes, it's kind to help your siblings, but you don't owe them financial support, especially because you're single and child-free, and not even by choice, this poor lady. The sister is an adult who chose both not to work and to have a large family. I seriously don't understand how some people can say such horrible things to their siblings and genuinely mean it. Never mind that OP's logic is wrong. He's a major idiot just for that comment. Alice is old enough to understand how to use protection. If she's struggling with money at the 3rd kid, then struggling more at the 4th, then why the heck did she get pregnant with a 5th? There's the selfish sibling for you, and it's not Miranda. Wakey wakey. Alice is the one who seems to expect the rest of the world to provide for the kids that she keeps irresponsibly having. I hope OP is not going to grow up and become one of those you encounter who think that because a coworker has no kids or is single, they should be expected to put in longer hours than others, or cover for others, etc. OP, huge you are the idiot, and you're in for a rude shock. Someday you will see how much of an idiot you were to Miranda, and just how entirely right she was, and worse, how generous she actually is, and you do not seem to care. During my senior year of high school, my friend accidentally closed my laptop on a pair of my earphones and cracked the screen. Unfortunately, this rendered me without a laptop. I needed one this year for university, and my aunt had a MacBook she wasn't using, so she allowed me to borrow it. I borrowed it and took it with me to uni and did all my work on it, using it frequently. Yesterday, though, I left my backpack with the laptop still in it in the entranceway to my house and went to my room to sleep because I was exhausted after class. When my dad came home and saw it there, he got angry and threw the backpack with the laptop in it, which non-surprisingly broke the laptop. When I checked on it, there was a massive dent in the laptop and the screen was all white. I showed him what he had done, and he said it wasn't his fault, and I better have enough money to fix it. I told him off and said if he didn't have a temper tantrum about a bag, then the laptop would have been fine. He called my aunt before I had the chance to explain the situation, and I don't know what he said, but she was very angry with me and expected me to fix it, but I refused and said that it was not my fault and my dad should pay for it. She was understandably upset, but I don't think I should have to pay for it. I think my dad should pay for it. I'm not just giving it back to my aunt like that. I might be the idiot because I did refuse to pay for it. It was my dad's fault, but that disadvantages my auntie. Everyone's the idiot. Your dad should be the one to pay, in my opinion, but if he won't, it seems really harsh on your aunt. Also, I don't understand why your friend broke the original laptop. You didn't get them to pay to fix it, or why you didn't get a new laptop, even if secondhand, etc. Finally, you seem oddly reluctant to spend any money on or energy repairing a laptop even though you say it's essential for studying. You are the idiot. Your dad should pay for it, but if he refuses, then that falls on you. You borrowed the laptop from your aunt. Said laptop got broken while in your care. That makes it your responsibility, not your aunt's. Your dad broke it and should pay up. But if he refuses, the responsibility still falls to you because you were the person borrowing the laptop. Arguably, if you'd taken the laptop to your room and stored it in a safe place, rather than an entranceway used by the whole family, it wouldn't have gotten broken at all. The last sentence is victim blaming. This wasn't someone tripping or accidentally breaking it. The dad is an abusive idiot who threw the bag, destroying someone else's property. I don't care how annoyed you are or how many times someone has been told to take their bag to their room. You don't get to throw it violently. Agree. OP's not the idiot. Your dad broke the laptop. He pays. End of story. This is 100% your dad's fault. Does he usually have such aggressive, uncontrolled anger? To throw a backpack hard enough to break a computer? Is he physically abusive toward you? I am concerned about your safety, OP. My brother and his ex were together for 3 years. They were both unfaithful throughout the relationship, and when they broke up and she got pregnant and told him there's a chance he isn't the father, things became even crazier. He had just gotten a significant promotion and was going to be making a lot of money, and he felt like she was only keeping the baby to take his money on the off chance the baby was his. So when the baby was born, they got a paternity test and he was the father. After that, they got into a huge custody battle. She was unemployed after losing her job and living with her parents, and my brother was way more stable than her. He had money, a job, a house, and a nursery all ready for the baby. He also wanted 100% custody. I asked him why, since he worked so much and didn't seem to want the baby throughout the pregnancy. He said he knows the type of person she is, and she thought she would use the baby as a pawn for his money. But our aunt is a family lawyer and helped him to hire a top attorney to get full custody, and he got it. When the baby was only like 7 months, he got full custody and never allowed her to see him. She begs and begs and he refuses. He gets happy seeing her so sad. He enrolled his son in daycare every day 5 days a week, from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. as soon as he got custody. He's now 3 and still on this schedule. Since getting my license, my mom or I pick him up from daycare and watch him at my brother's house until he gets off work at 8, 9-ish. He then lets him use the iPad until he goes to sleep around 10. Then it's the same routine over and over again. He doesn't even spend time with his son. He doesn't even change his diapers. Once my mom changes him before she leaves at 9, he doesn't usually get another one until he goes to daycare the following day. The only time he even spends with him is when he's taking him to daycare in the morning. We watch him on the weekends too, so he can unwind and basically have a bachelor pad. He doesn't even seem to love his son. His teachers, since he was a few months old, are like his mother figures. He calls them mama. He's the first there in the mornings and the last to get picked up. Meanwhile, his mom is begging to see him since she hasn't seen him since Global Issue began. Yes, I know. And my brother refuses. Whenever my brother complains about being a single dad, I tell him he's not an actual single dad since he chose to be the only parent and spent thousands on top lawyers. And also, his son is in daycare every day for most of the day, and he never sees him. He called me an idiot and said I'm disgusting for saying he's not a real single dad and that he works to provide for his son. Not the idiot, and I call the mom and say you're willing to testify against him if she wants to go back to court. Even with full custody, she should have regular visits. Document everything. See who else in your family cares enough about this child to do what needs to be done. This boy is suffering and likely will continue to do so until someone steps up for him. Agree. He clearly took custody of the child to spite his ex. Honestly, you should report him because he doesn't love his son. OP, you and your family need to stop enabling him by looking after the kid every weekend. If he wants his weekends to himself, the kid's mother would surely be happy to take him. It's so sad that he's not allowing her any visitation. That can't be legal. Also sad for the little boy, not getting any attention from his father. Everyone's the idiot here. You for saying he isn't a single dad. Regardless of if he's in childcare, he's still a single parent. His reasons for being one make him the idiot, as does keeping the child from the mother. Honestly, everyone here sucks except the kid who is being brought into a really screwed up situation. Why don't you try being there for your nephew and trying to be a positive influence? Stop tearing your brother down. Yeah, he sucks, but you can do more by remaining in his life and trying to help out the kid. Just play with him and show him love. I have a pretty strong suspicion that he got 100% custody and the mother doesn't even have visitation. There's probably some decent issues with her. OP, being a teen, probably doesn't have the full picture of their relationship. OP, I get that you have serious problems with your brother's parenting, and that's valid, but you don't get to decide he's not a father because he doesn't meet your standards. My wife and I rotate who we spend Christmas with, so 1 year her family and 1 year my family. Although I don't love doing it with her family, and she isn't a big fan of my mother, please don't tell us to do it as a nuclear family. We both hate that idea. Our families are pretty different. Her family is much more about the kids. Even the dinner is tailored more to what kids like. Bland in my opinion, but I would never say that. The kids each get 1,000 gifts and spend Christmas running around my mother-in-law's house, making a huge ruckus. Christmas with my family is fantastic food, though we usually have to pack our toddler her meal in a more relaxed atmosphere, and my mom doesn't get any of her grandkids gifts. I don't know her exact reasoning. She says that only the nuclear family should buy gifts, though she does get my 2 sisters and me something, but gives it to us about a week in advance. My kids don't know that she does that. My mom encourages the kids to play in another room so the adults can talk, but my wife and I put our foot down because these kids are just too young. To be clear, we exchange gifts at home before going. My wife finds it weird that no one in the family buys for other kids. It has nothing to do with my mom being frugal or anti-materialism. Instead, my mom and stepdad go all out for each other. Anyway, it is our year to do Christmas with my side, and my wife came to me and proposed that we suggest to the family that we only buy for kids and make Christmas more kid-friendly. I told her she really has no right to tell my mom how to spend her money, and that would not go over well with my very child-free sister. Another sister has kids as well. She feels that Christmas is supposed to be this magical time for the kids, and my mom and stepdad and child-free sister and brother-in-law have their anniversaries, birthdays, and Valentines to spoil each other. She said she hates how much Christmas is about the adults in my family, making her sad. I said her points are valid, but it would be controlling and inappropriate to try and change how my family has always done things, and she would offend my mom. She said I'm putting my mom's feelings ahead of hers, and she wants to bring it up, and she doesn't like that I use the word controlling. So, am I the idiot here? Everyone's the idiot here. I think that now that you have children, there's nothing wrong with suggesting some changes to Christmas. Traditions change as families change. I think there will come the point where one of the children tells Grandma how boring her Christmas is, and that will not be fun. Honestly, if I were your wife, I wouldn't bother going to your family's Christmas. Your wife and child are part of your family too, and if they aren't included in the celebration, then Christmas and family don't sound like they go together in your family. Your family does things a certain way. Your wife doesn't like it and suggested a change, which is reasonable. She's part of the family too. You aren't wrong for telling her it won't go over well, and your family doesn't have to change. But making her feel bad about a reasonable request is an idiot move. I'm a bigger fan of your wife's idea of how Christmas should be spent than your family's, but house traditions are house traditions. It just sounds boring for these kids, and they'll constantly be comparing the fun side of the family to the boring side, but they aren't being mistreated or anything. Not the idiot for doing things differently, though I'm not inclined to call your wife an idiot for suggesting. If she made it a demand, then she'd be an idiot. My 56 female stepdaughter Beth, 31, is getting married to her fiancé David, 27, next weekend. It would have been sooner had it not been for everything getting shut down. Beth's sister Christine, 27, scheduled her thesis defense to be the same afternoon as the wedding rehearsal. She's doing her second master's thesis for a second master's degree. Christine's husband, Zach, 27, will be there watching her, so he won't be at the rehearsal dinner. They have 3-year-old twins, a son and a daughter, but they won't be at the defense, so I'm not sure where they will be, at the rehearsal or back at the house or not. I know Christine is anxious to get the second degree done after the start was deferred and delayed for a year because she had the twins, but I can't believe she would have her defense on the afternoon of the wedding rehearsal. My husband, 57, doesn't think it's a problem for her to miss it, but I don't think he understands in general how much weddings mean to the bride, and I know Beth wants her family at the rehearsal supporting her. It's been a busy time between house hunting and wedding planning during a global issue, so I understand why Beth wants the support. I don't usually agree with Beth's mother, but in this situation, she's upset at Christine too. I'm not sure about her husband's opinion, but I know she agrees with me. So I don't see why Christine can't reschedule the defense and not come to the rehearsal in support of Beth as she asked. You are the idiot. Speaking as someone in academia, I can tell you that Christine will have limited control over her defense date. Scheduling a time when all of her examiners and committees would be free can be very difficult. Furthermore, the way you write about her degree, and it's her second in your post, you're trying to make the culmination of a degree she's worked long and hard for seem far less important than a wedding rehearsal. Beth doesn't seem to need her sister at the rehearsal dinner. She'll be just fine. On the other hand, Christine does need to be at her thesis defense. If she isn't, or cancels it for a rehearsal dinner, she will not be just fine at all. Maybe try supporting the mother of toddler twins. She's finishing her second master's degree. Instead of being surprised everyone doesn't express complete and utter horror at the idea of a woman choosing to prioritize her career over fawning over the bride on a day that isn't even the wedding. And she doesn't even know where said toddler twins will be. Christine's husband will be supporting her during the defense, and her own stepmother cares so little, she doesn't even know if they need help with the children, so her poor stepdaughter can concentrate and not worry. You are the idiot. So much it makes my teeth hurt. I also love my stepdaughter Beth and her sister Christine, like Christine is some sort of add-on to the glorious stepdaughter.